I want to touch upon the third point that you mentioned, if you will allow me, because that's a very important point. The power axis, the changing political power axis that you alluded to between US and China. But we've lived 75 years without any kind of major war globally. Do you think that era is about to change? Because you've spoken very ominously of late about a period of 1930 to 1945, which you think the world is veering back to.
Yes. Um, in my book, which is an extension of a study that I did, I needed to go back in history and follow and examine what happened when conditions were similar to today. And so you will see in that book, it's called The Changing World Order. You will see in that book, and by the way, there's a video called the YouTube video called The Changing World Order. It's free and it's entertaining and it's informative. You'll see in that measures that go back 500 years, and you will see cycles. Cycles are just, it's nothing predestined by a cycle other than their mechanical cause effect linkages. And so if we look at the financial issues we just talked about, size of the wealth gap, printing of money and all, if you look at the internal conflicts, and used measures, size of the wealth gap, size of political gaps, amount of populism, and the like. And if you look at the external factors, the conflicts between countries, the military buildup, and such, they are all, each one of those, the highest levels since the 1930 to 45 period. And you go back over periods of time, and they all interrelate to make less peaceful periods of greater conflict. And that's a period that we're in. And so when we look at that, you can see the geopolitical. In India, it's right. Well, all big countries and many little countries are in the middle of that. So what we're seeing is no longer the minor country confrontations, something like the United States and Afghanistan or Iraq. It is now Russia and China. And there are five kinds of wars. There is a trade war, a technology war, a geopolitical influence war, a capital and economic war, and a military war, five of those. We are in the first four of those. If we never go to a military war, we are still having damage happening because we are still in an environment where globalization as we know it is declining. Because right now, in fears of those wars, there is the desire for self-sufficiency. It used to be that the world would come close to producing items and trading items wherever it was most efficient. That is now changing. Now it's wherever it's most secure. So you're seeing that change in global economics happen in an important way, resulting from these geopolitical changes. And we could find ourselves in a military war. I'm not saying that that's inevitable. I'm saying, though, that right now there is not a United Nations or World Court that resolves disputes. They're resolved in terms of these types of fighting. So, yes, it's very much an influence. And those influences then affect countries differently. Those that are in wars of those types have more problems than those that are out. Neutrality is important. The three things that I look at when I'm looking at countries is first, the financial. Do they earn more than they are spending financially? Do they have a good income statement and good balance sheet? Second, do people within the country operate in a harmonious, effective way, healthy competition, but not destructive political dysfunctional behavior? And number three, are they at risk of an international war, or are they more neutral and staying out of the international war? if they are those three, financially sound, operating well with each other, and operating in a way where there's minimal risk of being directly involved and they're more neutral, I favor those countries.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.